Hey, you have kids. You probably have, all parents are good talkers. Bam, we're live. Good morning, everyone. Am I saying your name right? Andrea?
Yes.
Andrea Wilson. Okay, because I know some people go by Andrea, but Andrea.
Yep, it's Andrea.
Andrea Wilson. Hey, thanks for coming on. Congratulations for making it to the CrossFit Games. You must be getting pumped. You look like you're ready to go right now.
I am excited. I'm excited to go to a new location, new venue, kind of have the backing of CrossFit this year. So it's exciting.
Hey, where are you? Where's home for you?
Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Okay. Is that a good place?
It's Midwestern. I love it.
Yeah. I've been to the Dakotas a few times, and every time I've absolutely loved it. Great states, both of them, North and South.
Yeah.
Are you guys friends? Do North and South Dakota friends, or do they have a friendly rivalry, or how are the states?
I think the rivalry is probably more like East and West River
Then the two
than the
states.
states. Yeah.
Hey, I know you're on here because of your remarkable accomplishments as an athlete, but I want to tell you, when I dig through as a father, when I dig through your Instagram, what I'm most impressed by is your parenting and the fact that you're working out and hanging out so much with your kids. How old are your kids?
11 and 6.
How do you think you do that? What do you think it is that makes them that they want to hang out with mom and do hard stuff?
I think it's just having them a part of my daily life and not trying to separate what I do versus like my time and their time. I mean, there very much is when I'm doing a workout, like my 6-year-old knows he's not allowed in the gym, but like as they've gotten older, seeing it and being a part of it. And my oldest one came to the games with me last year and he absolutely loved watching that. And I think that's given him motivation, but yeah, I think it's more just I try and make every activity that I do. I'm a single mom, so they're with me a lot of the time. So just making them a part of my day-to-day life and not making it my own time.
Hey, Andrea, when does the 6-year-old get to be? Because I have some pretty strict rules about when I work out, also.
Yeah,
And I don't. I'm trying to remember when it changed, but there was a point when they just weren't allowed in there if I
right.
was working out. And like you said, your 6-year-old's not allowed in there. But now I have a 9-year-old and 2 7-year-olds, and they can be in there when I'm working out. But there is still a really strict rule: do not talk to me. Like, unless there's a fire, do not, like, I don't care if you're like, I just need some time. I don't care if you're hungry. The house better be on fire. There better be a stranger in the house. Do you remember when that changed for your 11-year-old and why it changed? Uh-oh, you froze.
He has always been a rule follower, and I can pretty much trust what I tell him that he will follow through with. My 6-year-old, not at all the same. He is a little terror, so I imagine that I'll have to be more strict with him. But my rule with him right now is kind of like when there's a class, absolutely not. Like class time, respect the gym, respect the coach. Like you're not allowed back here. And then when it's open gym time or just me in the gym after that, then I try and incorporate him a little bit more into the time and the space.
Okay, so for you, it's because there's other people there. For me, it was kind of like safety. Like I was just concerned I was going to drop something on him or set something down on him, or he was going to come running by and hit their shin on a barbell or something like that. But do you train? So you train exclusively at an affiliate?
Yes.
And what's the name of that affiliate?
CrossFit Viable?
CrossFit Viable?
Yes.
Are you the owner?
No.
Are you a coach there?
No. I would be a terrible coach.
Seriously?
I would be very strict, and I think I would find it very frustrating with my expectations.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, hey, maybe there's a special class for that. Andrea, come get slapped around by Andrea. No bullshit with Andrea.
That's right.
And so you take the classes there with the classes?
I do not anymore. So when I first started off, I did just one-on-one with the owner. I was real nervous and had no idea what I was doing. And then he really wanted me to get into doing the classes. So after a little bit of time, I started doing classes. And then probably for the last 2 years or so, I'm there during the class, but I'm not following the class programming. I'm there during the class and open gym afterwards, and I'm doing different programming.
Hey, what division are you competing in San Antonio?
Seated 1.
Seated. Explain that to me. The different seated.
Yep. So they have 3 seated categories this year. They've typically had 2, seated 1 and 2, and the difference with that is they define it as hip function in a more general sense, but I think they've started adding further testing where it's not exclusively hip function; it's more a full body comparison. But for greater people that don't know the exact differences, hip function is a good way of defining it. Like a lot of the seated 2 athletes can stand up and talk to you, or like can lean forward and support themselves with their feet, whereas I will just face plant.
And that's seat 1. Seat 1 has no hip function.
Correct.
Okay. And then what's 3? 3 is like you have.
3 is I think our quad division, so having impairment in your upper extremities as well.
Oh, okay. So the first 2 are in relationship to hip function, and the third is you got some pieces missing up top.
Not pieces missing, but impairment as far like higher up spinal cord injuries.
Okay.
You have grip function.
Hey, do you,
torso control.
on one hand, I could see where people like the divisions, because it keeps you with your people, but I could also see where like a really competitive person wouldn't like it because they just want to beat everyone's ass.
So the unfortunate thing I've found, there are very few seated women competing. And so over the years, I've actually, Wadapalooza groups us all together, and that's been one of my favorite competitions because there is a seated 2 athlete that I can chase after. I've often got into it being like, well, I'm not going to be able to catch her, but it's something to chase.
Right.
So I understand it from both ends because a lot of the times the difference in function ends up helping in things such as transitions. Like she can get in and out of her chair faster where like I have to physically pick up my legs and move them.
Right.
And so things like that, it's just can be frustrating because it's like, well, that's not really a fitness thing. But at the same time, I prefer to have something to compete and chase after than to be separated into so many different groups where we lose our competition.
I want to go back to your kids really quick before I completely let that go and lose that. Hey, do your kids, how often do your kids work out?
It really depends on, like in the summer, especially this year, my oldest is every day, multiple times a day. He's kind of got OCD with it right now, I would say. And then my little one, he's just kind of all over the place. He's doing trampoline and tumbling, so he's getting that kind of gymnastics background in there. But for the most part, he's just playing.
Yeah, I think that's kind of. I'm watching my 7-year-olds are finally getting more and more into it. This is your 6-year-old.
Yep.
Hey, and you get yourself in that trampoline?
Yes, all the time.
Yeah, crazy. God, you're a good mom. I fucking hate going in the trampoline.
It's a good arm workout.
Yeah, I bet. I'm always sore the next day after going in the trampoline. You get a lot of mom bounce me, double bounce me, mom.
Double bounce, yes.
Yeah, it says right here not to do that. I know, just do it. Hey, all of our injuries are double bounce injuries in our trampoline.
So true.
All the injuries are double bounce injuries. Now my wife's got this rule: only one kid at a time. I can't even believe we're actually pulling it off.
Wow.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. I want to go back to how you found CrossFit. What was the entrance into the gym? You said you started with just one-on-one classes. How did that happen?
Yeah. So I had been not doing much for several years. Kind of after my initial injury I had when I was 17. And then I entered college and kind of spent a good decade focused on academia and career. Um, and I was still, swimming, hand cycling, recreational stuff, but not really working out. Um, and then I had seen a challenge put up by someone to do a Tough Mudder. And I was like, you know what, that sounds kind of cool. Like, she's doing it in the chair. That's something I'd like to train for. And she recommended reaching out to a CrossFit gym. And it just so happened that my dad works with one of the CrossFit gym that I go to. The owner of that, one of his good friends is my dad's boss. So he brought me in, and that's kind of how I started the one-on-one training. And it was for that Tough Mudder. And as I got into it, I was like, I don't want to do this Tough Mudder where I still have to rely on people getting me through this race. Like, I don't like relying on people for anything. So once I started getting a little bit athleticism back, it was kind of exciting to just be like, what can I do on my own? And I dropped the Tough Mudder and just kind of kept doing my own thing.
So you did go to that CrossFit gym to train for the Tough Mudder?
Yeah, initially.
And how long did you do that?
I was doing the one-on-one probably for 2 months before I started taking the CrossFit classes. But it was very quick that the mindset changed for me of like, I just want to do this.
You just want to do CrossFit?
Yeah.
When you do Tough Mudder in a wheelchair, so you're going over like terrain, like unpaved paths and all that in a wheelchair?
So I've never done it, but the girl that I was following, her name's Jessie, that does do it. She relies on a team of people to help her get through it.
Okay, so sorry, so I missed that. So you trained for it, but never did it. You just
Correct.
you just ended up just falling right into the CrossFit trap.
Yep, exactly.
Hey, how was that going into the gym the first time? Did they know what they were doing?
Absolutely not.
Cool.
Neither one of us did. But I think that was part of the benefit. Like, he was really up for taking me on and working one-on-one and figuring things out with me. We did a lot of weird shit at first. But I think through that, we were able to like figure out what works for my body, what works for my impairment. And like, I really appreciated the dedication to, like, he had never worked with an adaptive athlete before, and really was up for the challenge.
Hey, so isn't that interesting? So there was some, if the two bars are competence versus experience, there was something about this person's competence that made you realize that you trusted them to use you as a guinea pig to figure out, right? I mean, there must have been something you got off this dude or this gal, that made you be like, okay, because I mean, it's your body at the end of the day. You don't want to get jacked up.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a gradual development of trust. That being said, I think I'm also one that's kind of like, my body is fucked up anyways. Let's give it a try.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not really afraid to throw myself around. But yeah, it was a development over time of like, let's figure out, like, initially I didn't have, my chair now has a back wheel for all of my lifting. Initially, I didn't have a sports chair. And so like I did all of my lifting and just backed up against the wall, which I couldn't imagine trying to do now. But like, it was things over time that just, we figured out and how to make it work and what's the best way of adapting.
A back wheel is kind of like a wheelie bar, like you would see on those like motorcycles or drag cars.
Yeah. Instead of, so like in standard like hospital wheelchairs, they have those wheelie bars where there'll be two of them.
Yeah.
And they're really tiny and they basically just stop you from tipping over. This one, it's a bigger wheel and it comes out further and it provides that full stability.
Hey, is that when you just cruise around, does that wheel roll on the ground or do you have to engage it by leaning back?
So it is very slightly off the ground because otherwise the 5 wheels, like, went on uneven ground, you end up catching funny. If they're all flush, you don't roll well.
Right.
But it's very as close to being flush as it can. But it's removable, so when I'm not lifting, I take it off. Or for certain movements that I don't want it on.
It's a quick release?
Yep.
Hey, is that an invention for, was that around before you needed it, or is that an invention for you, or is that an invention for people in your situation?
So this is a Performax chair, and it is specifically designed for CrossFit. A girl, Vanessa, I think her name, helped the company initially design it, but it was already in existence before I came around.
Holy cow. That's the first time I've ever heard that. That's a CrossFit specific chair.
Yeah. Yep. And
How cool.
Performax, the majority of seated athletes use this Performax chair.
How much is that chair?
I don't remember, but it was paid out of pocket. It's not an insurance covered chair.
It's expensive.
It's expensive, yes.
Yeah, like you want to forget how expensive it was.
Exactly.
Yeah, it looks expensive. Yeah, someone wrote big bucks. Yeah, it looks expensive.
That being said, I want to give a shout out to that company because the company is.
Uh-oh, we lost her. I lost her. Andrea, testing. Like this does something. Testing, 1, 2. Andrea, you froze. Andrea Wilson's competing September 19th through the 22nd in San Antonio. If you have not been to her Instagram, you should go. She has a shitload of followers, and it is a crazy, crazy Instagram account. It is wild. She is an absolute freak athlete. You will be holy cow. Wow. Okay, so it's a $4,500 chair by the time you get out.
Minimum.
Wow. Oh yeah. And you can't, it's not like you're gonna buy the $4,000 version and not click all the extra buttons, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so it's a $5,000 chair.
Yeah, that's
all right. Damn, good on these people for doing that. Good on them. It's a Performax X Fit.
Yeah.
Oh shit! It might be more than. Oh shit! It might be more than 5,000. Wow.
Oh yeah. Airless tire.
Look at you! Look, wow, this is awesome. All the upgrades you can do it. Air mesh upholstery, seatbelt. Well, that all-terrain tires, Primo Sentinel Trot tires, high pressure tires. I wonder if you just get all that shit.
You got to, right?
Yeah, I mean,
you use it every day.
Yeah, exactly. Totally. It's basically your legs, right? At that point,
right?
Might as well get all the good shit.
That's insane.
Let's see if she's going to come back on. I hope she does. That interview seemed kind of short, didn't it? There she is.
a little bit.
Yay!
Yeah. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. That's South Dakota internet?
Oh, shit.
That was South Dakota internet?
Let's see. I can't hear you, though.
Maybe there's a button you have to push on settings. Oh, I'll text you. Settings. Check the gear. At the bottom. Drop down menu.
South Dakota must not have very good internet.
I liked her new location better. Now we could see her. She was in the dark, and her audio seemed better too. I wonder if she switched it. Dude, I'm holy arms, dude. You wait till you see we get into her fucking Instagram. I'm telling you, she's a freak, dude. Pegboards, rock climbing,
like the guy yesterday.
Rope climbing. Her core is nuts. Her nuts, and she's a strength to body weight ratio absolute monster. There's videos of her doing. Did you see? I finally sent you the notes.
Yeah, I got them.
Okay, there's a video on her Instagram where she's doing a muscle up in a wheelchair. It's kind of crazy. How's that?
That's good.
Yeah, girl. Hey, so that chair's like that chair. We were looking at the chair while you were gone. So that chair is crazy. And what a great company. They got like all the options for you. That's like that's over $5,000. That's like $6,000 by the time you sit in it the first time.
Oh yeah, it's over that.
Yeah,
Once you add on like the special features and the wheels that, yeah.
Hey, this is gonna be a weird question, but do you love your chair? Like when you wake up in the morning, like do you see it and you're like, "Fuck, that's my chair. I fucking love you."
You know what? I absolutely love this chair for working out in. I hate it for day to day.
And how come? Because that back wheel bump shit, or
No, I take it off, but I just it's like a different pair of shoes. I sit differently in it, like the amount of like how far back. It's called the dump, like from the angle from your knees to your butt, like how
yeah.
far you actually sit into the chair, and the backrest is a little bit higher than in my everyday chair. Like I love it for working out. My everyday chair is actually broken right now, and I'm using this one, and I hate it.
Hey, how did your everyday chair break?
I don't know. I think maybe when my kid threw it in the back of the car one day.
Oh, and what's broken on it?
The welding of the back broke on it.
So you're going somewhere and you get out and you go to get your chair and it's just all fucked up?
Yeah.
And what do? You gotta go back home or you got crutches or?
Well, crutches wouldn't help me any. I just don't lean as hard back on it. Like I can function without the backrest there, so I'm making do until I can get it to a welder because that'll be a quicker fix than insurance.
Or what about getting a new chair?
I am going to get a new chair, but that takes months. Whereas I've got a welder here in town that can give me a quick fix in the meanwhile.
Dakota talk, a welder. I think there's a welder within 1,000 miles of me. Hey, do you know a welder?
I know a place that does welding that I can take it to.
Yeah, that's crazy. Chris said I know a guy. Crazy.
That's right.
Man. Wow. It's different in California. Hey, how much does a regular chair cost? Just like your day use chair?
Depends on insurance. Like at least with insurance coverage, I can get a new one of those like every 5 years. Unfortunately, I've got 2 different sets of insurance, so my day-to-day one is usually covered.
But do you have any idea how much those are? Are they expensive? Like
Standard. There's a huge range based on the material that's used to make the chair, the different options that go into it, the different companies.
Okay,
There's a couple of large companies that like insurances work with that those chairs are like $2,000, where most smaller companies you're going to get closer to the 6 or 7.
Okay, so it's a full crazy range too. You could spend a fortune on that too.
Yeah.
Hey, why, Andrea? Why won't crutches work for you? Because you don't have control of your hip, so it's like being on a slack line.
Yeah, it's I have nothing below my hip bones, so yeah, it wouldn't be able to do anything.
And you had your kids after your accident?
Yes.
How was that being pregnant?
I loved being pregnant. I felt really healthy with both my pregnancies. Toward the very end, like transfers get hard because my center of gravity is thrown off so much. But for the most part, I think physicians are sometimes thrown off a little afraid of how my body will handle it. But both of my pregnancies were really easy for me.
Yeah, that's amazing because and you still have your legs,
Yes,
but no use of them.
correct.
Yesterday there was a guy on who removed part of his leg because he had no use of it. I'm guessing that you've thought of that.
I have actually, and the biggest thing that they typically don't with spinal cord injuries is because even if we don't have use of them, it provides a counterbalance for transferring or for leaning forward on things. Like it still provides some maintenance of center of gravity aside from it being a major surgery and the complications that can go with that.
Yeah, I apologize for this superficial comment. She's gorgeous. That's disgusting. Don't treat her like that. I really am sorry about that. Well, no more of that stuff. Nonsense.
That's right.
She's a person. No one likes to be called gorgeous. And so you go to the class for 2 months, and then you get into the main class. And how was that? Was that scary at all?
For me initially, just because I like to keep to myself, like I'm very introverted, and like the idea of being in a class setting and then also being in a class setting as the only adaptive athlete, like how to incorporate that. And at the time, still not really even knowing what an adaptive athlete in CrossFit meant. But it was a good class setting. It was a small gym at the time, and it was a great community, and they really took me on well.
And that was also in Sioux Falls?
Yeah.
And are you still at that same gym?
Same gym. It's a larger facility. The gym's grown a lot over the years. But yes, it's the same gym.
Oh, I love to hear that. And any other adaptive athletes in the gym?
No.
That's interesting. So none of how long have you been there?
5 years.
Oh, that's interesting that that the kind of the word hasn't gotten out. I'm surprised the word hasn't gotten out and like other people haven't come there.
I think it's also just more like I said, like finding adaptive athletes. We're not that large of a metropolitan area. Like finding the athletes and then whether or not they actually want to do CrossFit. Yeah, there's a guy I've been on his case here in town that would be a lower athlete that I've been trying for years and haven't gotten him in yet. But
I'm guessing once a year the local TV station or a newspaper article or someone comes out and does a piece on you that gets out. No.
I have not.
Seriously?
I'm
God,
okay with that.
yeah, I know. I could already tell. You're like, nah, no attention.
No, I'm good.
Keep it off of me. Hey, how is that with Instagram? You have a pretty amazing Instagram account. You have a shitload of followers. Are you comfortable with that?
I have become comfortable with it. I think the thing that makes me most comfortable with it is the idea that like I can do whatever I want and I can put it out there, and then I don't have to do it. I don't have to speak about it to anyone. I don't have to explain myself. Like a lot of my videos, there's large comment threads that like I don't have to read. I don't have to. I can put myself out there without having to really explain myself to anyone.
Right, and it's probably I live in a small town too, and it's probably like that too. Like outside of the gym, no one knows who you are. You just go about your business. It's only when you go on Instagram that it's like, holy shit, there's the girl in a wheelchair that does the crazy shit.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool. So as soon as you put your phone down, you have all your anonymity back.
For the most part, yes.
Yeah, that's cool. So you do the class, and when's the first competition you do?
First competition I did was the Bacon Beatdown in Daytona Beach, which would have been in 21 maybe.
And so at that point, you've been doing CrossFit for how long?
I started in the end of 2018.
Okay, so 3 years.
Yeah.
And why did you do that? What made you want to get into the competitive space?
Well, I had done the open. I think the first like year or two I did the open. I didn't know that WheelWOD existed, and we just adapted the open as we thought it should be done. And then finding WheelWOD and seeing that they had actual open workouts for us at the time was really exciting. And finding like, so one thing I think I don't like social media, but for adaptive athletes, I think social media has been like a really great thing because we are so dispersed. It helped me to find and see what other people are doing and kind of bring a dispersed community together. So I think finding that out there made me want to go to some competitions and actually meet some of the people that I was seeing online.
Okay, so more than the competitive thing, you're like, oh, I learned how to use the rower, adapt the rower with this guy. I learned how to adapt the assault bike with this guy. Oh, this guy gave me the inspiration to do my first pull up with my wheelchair attached to me. I want to meet these people. And so,
Exactly.
So it's more of a get together.
Yeah. And I mean, not even just like among seated athletes. Like I'd been watching Vic for a long time. Like Vic was going to be at that comp. I want to go meet Vic and watch him do a rope climb. Like,
right. And so it's more of a get together where you guys work out.
What do you mean?
The competitions.
Oh, we like to try and make them a intense competition, but at the end of the day, I think we all are there with an understanding that we've all got a lot more going on in our life besides just this competition.
And you said on your Instagram on that trampoline post, I think you said, "Hey, this is the reason I work out for your kids," which is interesting because that's like a huge part of if I ever want to take a day off, that's what I always remind myself, "Hey, dude, you have fucking kids and you're old. Like, you better go in. Like, no matter what time of day it is, you better go in there." So you have that as a huge motivation.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's always in my mind is like, I don't want to ever enter into a circumstance and have my kids be like, oh, but my mom can't do that. And neither one, like, my kids know that, like, I might not be able to walk into the room, but I'm going to find a way to be able to do whatever it is that they want and do it with them. And that I have the ability to do that. And I really like that, at least up until now, like, I have not experienced them being like, oh, but mom can't do that.
And you know what's crazy too? Your kids have never known you with legs.
Right.
And you know what's crazy about that is so for them, and this doesn't matter, you know, as a parent, I'm sure you know this. We get being taken for you kind of want your kids to take you for granted because you don't want them to be stressed at all about you, but they still don't know like like what you have to do to be who you are. You know what I mean? Like they just take you for granted. Just everything's just completely normal. We got a badass mom. Everyone must have a badass mom. And like she's not even badass. That's just a regular fucking baseline mom. We just got one right off the shelf. But at some point you're gonna probably realize, holy shit, we don't have the Costco mom. We got like some different mom.
Well, and like the fun part is now, like my oldest is around me enough, like I still get the day-to-day comments of like getting out at the grocery store, like, do I need help? And like my oldest is now experienced that enough that like he's really good at making jokes back or calling me out on shit when I like he has been among adaptive impairments enough that like his understanding of it's really great to see.
Um, on a side note, do people try to touch you a lot?
My chair, yes.
But if you went out like that, people like, do you have that CrossFitter woman thing where like you go out and if you have your arm showing, people want to come over and examine you?
No.
You don't have that. People don't do that to you?
No.
You think it's because you're in a wheelchair?
Absolutely.
Oh, isn't that fascinating? Because if I go out with even my wife, someone inevitably will come over to her, and she's not like a high-end CrossFitter. She's just like she just CrossFits. But if you go out with her and her arms are showing, someone has to come over and be like, "Hey, what's going on over here?" Wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah, no.
Because you clearly look like a professional athlete.
Thanks.
Yeah. You look pretty wild. You look like a Ferrari. You look like, okay, you got the whole body tuned up like high end. All the stuff's yeah, it's nuts. Wow, that's fascinating. I wonder if it is. So you think maybe the wheelchair scares them away. They don't want to come over and maybe scares isn't the right word, but intimidates them like, hey, you can't talk to her.
I hope so.
But they stare. Do you catch people?
They absolutely stare. That's yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you're definitely stare material. When you were a kid, what did you do? What was your sport?
Gymnastics.
From a young age?
3 or 4.
Wow. And were you born and raised in the Dakotas?
Midwest. I moved around a lot, but always Midwest.
And that was constant for you from when you were a baby to how old?
Till I broke my back, 17.
And you broke your back in a gymnastics accident?
Yep.
Holy shit. Wow. How intense did gymnastics get for you? Did you have Olympic dreams?
I think every young gymnast does. But realistically, no. But I was planning on doing it in college.
And were you competing at a really high level? I know that like don't they have like different levels in gymnastics?
Yep. So I was competing as a level 10. And then like I said, it was my senior year that I got injured, but I was planning on doing it in college. Like I had been recruited onto a college team. So
So you're in high school. Your senior was life good?
yeah,
You liked high school?
I enjoyed high school.
And did you get a scholarship to college?
I think the school I went to, or I was planning on going to Cornell, because I was focused on the Ivy League schools, and that was the only one that had gymnastics.
And so you applied and you had already gotten in?
Yes,
And where were you in your senior year? What month was it when you had your accident?
January.
So halfway through the school year.
Yep,
Was it at a meet?
practice.
Holy
So
cow.
at the time, I was doing both high school and club gymnastics, and they use the same facility. So like, I would get out of school at like 2:45, and I'd be at the gym until 8. And so I was kind of in the middle of those two practices when the accident happened.
Had you seen any serious accidents in your previous 14 years as a gymnast?
I mean, I've seen broken bones, but never a catastrophic injury. No.
And that's what you would call your injury catastrophic?
Yeah,
That's what they call it. That's it right there on is that the high bar?
that is the high bar, and that's from the. So I've never actually watched the video, but that is a still shot from the video of the injury.
Were you conscious for the whole thing?
Yes.
And did you know right away?
I mean, I knew something was seriously wrong. I think my mind has blocked certain memories. I remember yelling for my coach to come over like instantly. And I remember waiting for the ambulance. But most of that is fragments in my memory.
So you're just basically an obsessed athlete for 14 years. And were you just a one discipline athlete? It was just gymnastics, gymnastics, gymnastics?
Pretty much I did high jump in high school just because it came naturally. But my focus was always on gymnastics.
In high jumps, that's the one where the Fosbury flop one where you turn your back and
Yeah,
could you do that?
I could. I'm naturally just tall and lean. That's my build, which is ironic because that's terrible for gymnastics. But yeah, so high jump, it fit well with my gymnastics background and my flexibility and my body build. It was just kind of a natural thing. But it wasn't I love gymnastics. I never felt that way about high jump.
Hey, so that was 21 years ago?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, what year was that? Do you know?
My injury, 2003.
Oh, so okay. I don't even look that. So that's before the iPhone.
Yes.
And
I got my first cell phone when I was in the hospital.
how was that filmed? What were the odds of it being filmed?
So at the time, it was a skill that I was working on, and so a lot of the times we would film it and then go back in so that we could watch and the coach could show us our body positions or what needed to be changed. So filming was frequently done, I think, during our training.
So that must have been a pretty high level facility
Yes.
that they had resources like that.
Yeah.
A lot of high level gymnasts there.
At the club, yes.
And the way you said you took the class was basically the classes were back to back, your high school gymnastics, and then you had a little break, and then your club gymnastics would start.
There was no break. So club practice was usually like 4 to 8, and I think high school was like 2:45 to 5:30 or something like that. So we would me and a few other girls did both, and we would just at some point transition from one group to the other.
As a heathen, you're right. Savon's version of BC and AD is before iPhone and after iPhone. That is kind of one of my. And were your parents weren't there?
At practice, no.
Oh my god, that must have been fucking wild. And then what happens? Does an ambulance come?
Yep. Ambulance came. I remember the very few memories from that first night, but I remember when I found out that I was spending the night at the hospital being like, oh shit, like I am actually spending the night here. And then I ended up spending like 3 months there, you know. But yeah, it was a experience.
Any open wound?
Nope. They did surgery immediately that night. They went in and did a spinal fusion and put in a bunch of hardware to stabilize my spine. And like bone graft off my hip, but no open injuries.
And what did happen?
So that picture is a release move. And I held onto the bar way too long. And so when I fell, I landed flat on my back.
You're
And the
going
mat-
you're going that way?
So I'm going back
That way.
toward the coach.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm supposed to let go of the bar and sit up and straddle your legs and catch the bar. And I held on far too long, so I didn't end up sitting up at all. And I landed flat on my back on the ground on uneven mats. So I think I crushed one vertebrae just from the impact, but because the mats were uneven, it severely stretched. Apparently it's intact, but severely stretched my spinal cord.
The whole thing.
At the level of T10 to T12 is where the impact was. So basically about at my belly button.
Why haven't you watched the video? You think it'd be just too traumatic?
I don't think it would be, but I've been warned by people throughout my whole life that like once you watch it, you can't unwatch it. Like why? So for that reason, I never have. I don't think it would bother me, but it's just never been need to.
Was someone supposed to catch you?
So there was a settlement with my injury for multiple things that could have been done differently. As far as how many times I had done the skill and the setup of the spotting and the mat setup. Yeah.
But none of that matters because you don't have use to your legs.
Correct.
Yeah. Isn't that it's so interesting. My wife was crossing my wife had dedicated her life to doing yoga, like in a crazy way, like flown all over the world, taking courses, spent just endless hours. And then she was hit by a car, and then she almost had to have her leg amputated, and there was a settlement, but it's like it doesn't just change the whole trajectory of everything. It's like it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong, right?
Yep.
At the end of the day, it's your legs. Like you'd rather be wrong 1,000 times and get your legs back.
Right.
Yeah, it's wild. I think about that with the Lazar thing too. Like so much, like all his family wants is just his life to be back. They just want his life back.
Yeah.
Like they don't like. So you're in there, and then basically you know right away that that's it. No more gymnastics, and your whole trajectory of your life's been changed.
So I'm 17. So I remember when the doctor first came in, like in the first week with a wheelchair, and I'm pretty sure I kicked him out of the room because I was like, I don't want to hear about this. So I was stubborn to accepting the information at first of the situation. I think what helped a lot. So I was at the local hospital for, I don't remember at this point, maybe 2 weeks. And then they flew me to a specialty hospital out in Denver. And I was there for the majority of my recovery. So probably 2.5 months I spent at the hospital out there. And I think being at that facility where there were a lot of higher up injuries, a lot of more serious injuries, it kind of made it hard to feel bad for yourself. And I attribute that a lot to me being able to like accept my situation and move on with it.
The only thing I can think to compare it to, Andrea, is when you have a kid, like you don't have a kid, and then there's a kid. You know, and it's like just all of a sudden you just got a kid in your house, just a baby, and you're like, "What the fuck? Where'd you come from?" You know what I mean?
What do I do with you?
Yeah, what do I do with and then, you know, next thing you know, you have 2 kids, and you're like, "Where'd you come from?" And it's like, but you don't do a, accept or not accept. Like, everything pre-kid just goes away. There's no option, but
Yep.
because all of a sudden you just gotta take care of this thing. This thing has to be fed and take care of and, like, held and all that shit, right? That you gotta
Yep.
do to raise a kid. Um, but with your situation, it sounds like and with a lot of people who've gone through similar situations, it's not like that. Well, I get are you forced to accept it or, like, your brain can fight?
Um, I mean, there's a lot of just like relearning your day to day life, you know, like relearning how to get dressed, relearning how to open doors, and simple things that we take for granted, you know. Um, so there's the actual reality of those things that like takes time and settles in, or can be frustrating. That like things that it used to take you a minute to just run out the door. Well, now you have to. It takes longer. Like it takes me longer to load up my chair into the car, although I'm pretty fast at that now. Um, but I don't know if it's just my nature or if it was the specific circumstances. But I think that I was very quick to accept accept it for what it was and kind of move on. Like I think everyone was always waiting for like the big emotional impact to hit me, and it never really did. Um,
Do you think it's still in there?
at this point, no. Early in the initial years, like there were times where it was like I would eventually like have days that like the frustration hit in, and you just like I probably when I was in college, and like I would get frustrated and I would just have a day and like break down. At this point, um, I can't picture my life any other way,
Right.
and I have a great life. So like I don't think that there are sure there are things that I miss out on, or like like when I see pictures of like people out hiking in like the middle of nowhere, like I wish I could go out there and do that. Um, but for the most part, I'm good.
You present like you have a great life, by the way. You got your face presents that way. Obviously, you have all the other things too. You have beautiful kids and a crazy body, but I mean, you present like you have a fucking great life, which is cool. I love people who have a great life.
Like I think I can find joy in simplicity.
Yeah.
Like I don't need much outside of my like I like being happy in my day to day. Like I don't want to like wait for like one exciting experience to like be the thing I'm waiting for. I'd rather have everyday simplicity.
When's the last time you've told this story?
Of my injury, it's been a
Yeah.
while actually. Yeah.
Do you not like telling it?
Oh, it has no impact on me.
No, okay. Yeah, and then after that happens, all the people in your what was that like? Every person you see, you kind of have to process it with them, right? So the 1,000 people that you might see in a 1-month period, they see you as this powerful gymnast, and then all of a sudden they see you as this girl in a wheelchair. Was that fucking wild because
So it was
you're not
awful.
obligated, but you have to process it with all 1,000 people, right? And you're like, Jesus Christ, I have to do this again.
Yeah. So I was very anxious to leave the state because it was one of those where like I came back from the hospital and everybody knew me. Like there was no anonymity anymore. It was like that was the girl from high school that had the injury, and like um I was happy to I went to college out in New Jersey, and I was very happy to like go start over where like nobody knew whether it was a new injury or not. Like that's the only way they knew me. They didn't know me from before.
Right.
And like I think I was also really fortunate at the time. Like my boyfriend was super supportive, and at age 17, 18, that did a lot for helping me feel good about myself and being confident to like be okay with my new circumstance.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Y- how did your parents take it?
It was very difficult. My mom moved out to Colorado and stayed at the hospital with me while my dad stayed back in South Dakota working. Um, I, as a parent, can't imagine going through what they went through. Like, I don't know. I'm very close with my mom. She's, she's my best friend. She's my biggest supporter.
Oh, no
And
wonder she had a good life. No
we've
wonder.
gotten close because of, like we went through so many things together. So like there's definitely positive things that came out of it, but it was devastating for her.
Oh, and I'm guessing when you had your first kid, it shifted the whole perspective even more, right? Like when it happens, your parents are bummed, but after you have kids, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. Well, she must be so fucking proud of you right now. That she must be so proud of you. Does she tell you that? Does your mom tell you she's proud of you?
Uh, no, but I know that she is.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I wonder if my parents are proud of me. My dad told me the other day, Andrea, that he's told me he's proud of me probably like 4 or 5 times in my life, but my dad called me the other day and told me that he feels like he's let me and my sister down because we've ended up as conservatives. We live in California. He meant it. I was like, I didn't know what to say.
Right.
I wanted to be like, dude, you should be proud of me. I made the fucking intellectual leap. I made it. Fuck, it was crazy. It was crazy. It was fucking wild. But kids did it to me. It's my kids' fault.
That's right.
I'd still be a good fucking liberal if it wasn't for my kids. Okay. So you do that, and then so you go through all that, and then do you pick up any other sports or training, and how does someone go from being an athlete for 14 years to all of a sudden not?
Yeah. It was a very, like dramatic end. And I think it was, if it's going to happen, a good age for it to happen at, because everyone was going off to college and kind of starting new lives. And so I did the college transition, and I went to Princeton University. So I was out in New Jersey. And the academics were crazy difficult. So it kind of just became my new focus.
So even though you're going to Cornell for gymnastics, when that happened, they didn't take you?
When that happened, I considered other schools that didn't have gymnastics teams.
Oh, okay. Well, fuck, you went to a great school, Princeton.
Yeah. So I went to Princeton for my undergrad. And I think I was able to kind of focus all of my efforts into my academics instead. And because it was so difficult, it was easy to have something fill that space. And so I did that for 4 years, and then I went and got my master's after that.
In what?
I have my master's in public health.
Oh boy.
So
Oh boy.
yeah.
Oh boy.
Focused on reproductive health.
Okay. All right.
In like developing nations.
All right. I'll suspend all judgment. Caleb, let's talk about her when we're done. I want to make some hypotheses about her positions. So did you go to the rec center on campus at all during your 4 years and fool around there at all, or like go into the, you know what I mean?
I think I went swimming maybe once. I had my own hand cycle, so I would do that, but really, for the most part, no.
So you went from like sweating profusely every single day, like just gallons of sweat, to none.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking wild. Oh, were you going crazy? I would go crazy.
I think it was more like it was such a change in life that it was like this starting over, it was a different life, and like it transitioned, and I don't know.
Did you ever, what about this? Did you ever, like, when you got your wheelchair, you go away to Princeton and you're like, did you ever do any stuff like, okay, today I'm going to try, I know that 5 miles away that there's a coffee shop and the furthest I've wheeled is 2 miles. I'm going to wheel over there, drink a coffee and wheel back. Did you do that?
So I never kept track of like how far it was, but yeah, I walked everywhere or I wheeled everywhere. Like I'm put in many miles a day getting around campus.
But would you set goals for yourself? Did you ever do stuff like that? Like, no, like the
Yeah.
competitive part of you wasn't like, hey, I'm going to,
I think the competitive part of me at that point in time was like, I'm going to try and get through this class. Like
Oh,
the academics were difficult.
yeah, I bet.
And like, I don't know, that was always something that was really important growing up as well. So it just filled that void. Like instead of it being like both academics and athletics, it just all became academics.
And you swim now?
I haven't in a while, but I did before, especially like before CrossFit, swimming. It was the one thing that kind of post injury didn't involve me sitting in any type of chair. And it felt really good to be able to just like freely move my body around. That being said, naturally, as a kid, I hated swimming. I got claustrophobic. I could not figure out how to breathe. So it was like after my injury, I had to force myself to learn. Like I took a couple swimming lessons just to really I wanted to be able to do it properly.
Yeah. How do you swim? I know that's a weird fucking question, but how do you swim? If you have legs and you can't like stop and put them down at the bottom, like how
Sure. So once you get going, so I tie a pull buoy and I actually strap it around my legs to help pull them up. Although I've been told by Tom Yazga, who's pro swimmer, that that's probably making it more drag for me at this point in time than helping. But the thought is that helps keep my legs up. But once you get going, they kind of have a little bit of buoyancy and stay up on their own anyways.
if you push the buoy all the way up into your crotch, it wouldn't have drag, right? It's that space in between the crotch where the water would get in between your crotch and wherever the buoy is that would push it.
But that also wouldn't be doing anything.
It wouldn't lift your legs up. All right.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah. Who am I? Look at me trying to solve it. Okay.
So yeah, I usually like strap it around by my knees.
What do you do if you have to rest?
Get to the end of the pool.
Okay.
Just kidding. No, my body is like naturally buoyant. I feel like if I just roll over, I can float forever.
Oh, interesting. You really, because you look dense as shit. You look like you would sink like a rock. No, you
No.
just on your, and do you have to do that frequently? Like I know you said you're not swimming a lot, but do you have to do that where you have to roll over on your back and take a break?
No, I've never done open water swims. So I imagine if I did that, I would need to, but typically in a pool, I just swim the length of the pool.
Okay, so 17 years old, stop gymnastics, go 4 years of undergrad, 2 years of masters, no training during that time, 6 years of just learning your body, relearning how to use your body in day-to-day activities, from driving to brushing your teeth to cooking, all that shit, just figuring it all out.
Yeah.
And while going to school, and where did you go to get your master's?
Johns Hopkins.
Oh shit! Wow, you're smarty pants. And what year did you finish Johns Hopkins?
2010. And don't worry, I kept going. Then I went back to school again. And got my nursing degree at Columbia.
Holy shit! So you were doing good in school to be able to keep leapfrogging to other great schools.
Yeah.
Were you staying in school because you wanted to stay in school, or were you staying in school to avoid going out into the real world?
So, the reason I went to get my public health degree was because I wanted to pursue med school, and I needed to take a year off so that my senior grades could count in. And I needed health insurance. So I initially kept went and got my master's because as a student I could keep health insurance.
Wow.
And then I kept going. I went back to when I was in public health school was when I was introduced. So I initially wanted to get my medical degree and go into obstetrics.
Is that baby stuff? What's obstetrics?
Yeah, women's health.
Okay.
And it was through my public health that I was introduced to like nurse midwifery, and I was really interested in that instead. So that's why I went back to nursing school instead. And the idea was that I wanted to get my master's in nursing and be a nurse midwife. But as I got more experienced with that, it was a hard realization that like the way I think midwifery should be practiced, I actually physically couldn't do it.
Because of the legs.
Yeah.
Meaning like if you had to do something, like you could probably do it, but if shit went sideways and 1 in 1,000 times, you might not be able to be the best person to do that.
My love of like nurse midwifery and natural childbirth is like not in a hospital setting. Like, and yes, so the being able to maneuver myself and help a woman be in the correct positions and whatnot, it would not have worked out.
Did you have home births?
So my first, I had, both of mine were hospital births, but I like to think my first one was a very natural. I lived up in Alaska, and it was a small hospital where like they didn't even do epidurals. So both of them were hospital births, but non-medicalized, I would say.
And do you think that you did that, the hospital births were because of your situation, because of the legs?
No, in Alaska it was because like that was the only option. I would have done a home birth in Alaska if I had the option. And then with my second, I found out halfway through my pregnancy that he was club foot. And my second was a little more medicalized from the beginning because I had him with a donor. And so like he was through IVF. And so it was more medicalized to begin with. But once I found out that he was club foot, it was all, I made sure that we were in a hospital and whatnot.
That's someone was on yesterday. Don't tell me his name. I have to. Russell Almendinger.
Yeah.
What a great name, right? Almendinger.
He's a great guy.
He's awesome. It's a wild name. He was born with 2 club feet, I think. He called it bilateral something. Your son only had 1 club foot?
Correct. Yep.
And what is that? The foot's turned in like this, or the toes are curled, or?
It's the whole foot is both curled in and down. So like at like 3 days old, they started putting, like he was in a cast, and they gradually like shift it. Like they adjust the casts like once a week. And then like he was in a brace till he was like 4.
Oh shit. So okay. So you got payback for what you did to your mom. And kids are like fucking Gumby then. Like literally it's crazy what the bones can do. Did they?
Yeah.
Was that something that was fixed?
I mean, he gets annual checkups for it. He's back into sleeping with an orthotic just to try and stretch out the tendons or tight on that one side, and like that one calf will never be as big as the other.
Right.
But to anyone that didn't know, they wouldn't be able to tell.
Oh, congratulations. That's fucking
yeah.
awesome. Hey, why do you think you're into why do you see birth? I'm putting words in your mouth. I learned this from the BIRTHFIT ladies. But why do you see birth as a biological process and not a medical process? Why do you think you see it that way?
Because it is.
I mean, I know you don't have to convince me, but for so many people don't know it. There's so much fear around it that I don't know. For some, I mean, when my wife was first pregnant, we thought people who would have home births would be batshit crazy. And then the lady who was taking who we were taking our birthing class from,
right,
she would walk up to my wife after class, and they didn't push home births or hospital births. We just took a birthing class. She'd walk up to my wife and be like, "Hey, I'm hearing you and your husband talk. you don't want a fucking hospital birth. You guys aren't talking about that when you guys talk. And I'm like, don't listen to her. She's fucking crazy. You want to go to the doctor. But we ended up having a home birth, and I was like, holy shit, the brave people are the ones who have it in the hospital. Because when you have a baby at home, you're just home. And like everyone goes away, and like the thought of someone talking to me or my wife after the baby comes out sounds nauseating.
Right. I don't know. I've always just, to me, it was like, it just made sense. It's a natural process. Like there's.
Were you a home birth? Did your mom have you at home?
No, I was
No.
a C-section, repeat C-section. I think a lot of it also when I was getting my master's degree, I went and studied in Malawi for a couple of months.
Uh-huh.
Where
in Malawi did you go?
All around Blantyre and the Long Way.
Were you at births there?
So I was there studying birth injuries. So women that had birth injuries that had been repaired and seeing how successful those repairs were.
Largest freshwater lake maybe in the world, for sure. Africa, Malawi's got it.
Beautiful lake.
Yeah, crazy, right?
Yeah.
I hung out there a lot doing making documentaries on malnourished children who need vitamin A. Man, Malawi's amazing.
It's a great country. Yeah.
Amazing.
I spent a couple months there.
The capital's crazy. I stayed out of the capital. I was in the villages. The capital's crazy. Do you remember flying in there? Sorry to interrupt you. Do you remember flying in there or out of there? And it was just campfires everywhere.
Yes.
Smoke everywhere. And you're like,
awful smoke.
Metropolis, and everyone has an open fire in their
yes.
1,000 open fires. Do you remember that?
Yes.
That shit was nuts. I'd never seen that anywhere.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Okay, so you went to Malawi to study injuries.
Yeah, and I think seeing the hospitals versus natural birth in those settings, I think made me increase my interest in natural birth.
Any specific stories you would say, like anything you saw that just clicked for you? You're like, okay.
No, I think just that how much everything was just a part of like the natural process, like it was a given that that's just how you would do it.
Did you actually see births like in villages?
Not in the villages. I was in the maternity ward at one of the hospitals just for rotations one day. But when I was in the villages, I was interviewing women in their homes that were postpartum.
They spoke English?
No, we had translators with us.
Yeah. Crazy, man. That's awesome. I haven't met too many people who've been to Malawi.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a fascinating place. On a total side note, I always feel like if you've never been to like India or Africa or China, that you probably shouldn't weigh in on like anything about humanity, because they're doing a totally different social experiment than we are here in the United States. Totally different.
Yeah.
So like how do you have a PhD in psychology if you haven't lived in Africa for 6 months or China for 6 months or India? Like they're doing something. They're totally different.
Yeah.
Like we don't even. It's wild. Africa is amazing. How long were you there?
About 4 months, I think.
Holy shit, that's a stint.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, were you scared to go there?
No, I was really excited. I mean, it was post-injury, obviously, so I was a little intimidated about
a wheelchair.
So,
holy shit. I mean, it's weird enough being there white, right? Like, I mean, I spent a lot of time in Africa, so I got used to it. But if you don't get used to it, like I've been there with other white people, they don't get used to it. They freak the fuck out.
Yeah. So my boyfriend went with me to get me around.
Yeah.
And yes, we got lots and lots of looks.
That's a good dude.
He was a good dude for many years. I don't know, but we had many years where he was no longer a good dude, but it's my oldest dad.
Boys, that happens to boys.
Yeah.
Men, we go through our phases. We have bad phases.
But I will never take away the good years that like he did a lot for me.
So he stayed there with you for the 4 months and helped wheel you around. Yeah, because sidewalks aren't at a premium there.
No. There were a lot of piggyback rides.
Wow, crazy. Man. Okay. So Columbia, let me see if I can do this. Princeton, John Hopkins, Columbia,
Yep.
somehow you didn't get indoctrinated. They failed their job. And
Right. And I'm back in South Dakota.
yeah, and you're back in South Dakota. It's crazy. They should study you and see where they failed. And then you finish Columbia, and what year is that?
2012.
So you have your nursing degree?
Yes.
Are you practicing right now?
No.
And then what do you do after 2012 after Columbia?
So I moved to Alaska and worked as a nurse, a public health nurse for the state of Alaska.
You're going to all these fucking crazy places. Alaska can't be that fucking wheelchair friendly either, right?
It was not. I lived in Ketchikan, so far southeast.
You have any ice accidents? You ever fall out of your chair sliding on ice?
No, because Ketchikan's far enough south. There isn't ice.
Okay.
Like, I think of like Washington State to the
Okay.
extreme.
Liver that no one ever thinks about.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So yeah, I moved up there, lived up there for a year. I had my oldest son up there, and then after having him, we moved back to South Dakota to be closer to home.
And what year? And so that was 2012, 11?
I had him in 2013.
2013. And so now there's this 5-year gap between the. You said you found CrossFit in 2018.
Yeah.
Could you, at that point, if I would have said, "Hey, could you do a pull up?" Could you do one pull up?
Probably not.
No.
No.
The first time you ever tried to pull up in a CrossFit gym, could you do a pull up?
Probably. I don't even remember.
Were you always as svelte as you are now?
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, I've always been thin.
You didn't get fat when no.
I think genetically I just tall and thin.
Don't believe that, people. That's a lie. That's the first lie. Hour and 12 minutes. No one's genetically like she works hard for that. There's no.
But like you
don't eat like full. Let's face it, right?
Well, that too. But like I was always the athlete. Like I wanted the bigger body build. Like I wanted to be that powerful gymnast. Like I wished I was shorter. I wished that I was, stout. Like I wanted that, and that's not my build. And even with CrossFit, like I tracked my macros for a good 2-3 years, really trying to put on mass, which is a struggle for me. And I got burnt out doing it, but then also like my oldest wanted to start like measuring out food, and I was like, nope, we're gonna be done with this game. Like that idea is just threw the whole thing off. So now I'm just.
I respect that. I respect the shit out of that. Yeah, you don't want. I don't know if I don't. I need to think a little bit more clearly about that. But my first instinct is probably I don't want my kid obsessing on food.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want my kid doing that. I got my own issues.
Yeah.
Okay. So 2013 to 15, you come back, and then do you start working right away? Do you get a job in a hospital?
So when I moved back to South Dakota, I worked for the city of Sioux Falls as a nurse. Yep. And then I actually went back to nursing school one more time to get my master's, to get a nurse practitioner. And I think things had changed enough when I was younger, like in nursing school, like there were challenges with accessibility. And at that point in my life, it was like, I kind of liked the challenge, like I'm going to prove you wrong type thing. Mm-hmm. And when I ran into that, now as a 30-year-old mom going back to school, it was no longer a fun challenge. It was frustrating. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I got through my first year of
examples, Andrea, like the layout of the room, like checking people's ears or getting people on scales or.
Yep. And actually, so like the first year of my going back for my master's, it was a 2-year program. And I got through all the academics fine. And then we got into where we were supposed to start our placements, and they couldn't even find a placement for me. It was a month in and everyone else had placements and I was still waiting for mine. and I found a friend that eventually took me on. But the dynamic of having to fight the system, I no longer had the energy or desire to do that.
Because they couldn't accommodate what you needed in order to practice, like a nurse who's in a wheelchair that said that no one wanted to accommodate that.
Correct.
All because of physical challenges, like with the not your physical challenges, but the physical
The
challenge,
physical challenge is more of the facilities than anything.
facility challenges. Yeah, sorry, that's what I
Yep.
meant. Are they
But
honest?
also,
Are they honest about that,
also
or do they shoot, or do they bullshit you?
they bullshit you, absolutely.
Oh.
And then like, I think a lot of it also was more the idea of like people's perceptions. I got tired of having to like, when a patient would come in the room, just like to have to prove myself even to the patient. And the feeling of that never went away. And I was like, I don't want to be starting off in a new profession feeling like I'm always having to like prove myself.
Right.
So I walked away from nursing. I didn't finish my master's. I walked away, and that was at the time that I was really getting into CrossFit. And so I kind of, I just let that go.
I've never seen a doctor or a nurse in a wheelchair. I mean, I've been to
They're
the hospital a
few
lot.
and far between.
Yeah. There was when I lived in Berkeley, there was a store there. I think it was a place where like, I think it was like a cigar shop or a cigarette shop or something that was a club where you could still smoke in there or something. I don't remember the exact details, but they didn't have a wheelchair ramp, and
Yeah.
they couldn't afford to put a wheelchair ramp in, and the city closed them down. And I always thought that was kind of a weird thing, because granted, you want everyone to have access, but then this dude's business got shut down because because in Berkeley, you probably had to spend $30,000 just in permits to get the access to build the ramp. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
not like, hey, let's lay down a few pieces of wood. It's probably not, you know what I mean? It's not like fucking middle of Nevada or Idaho where you could just.
Well, and if you're going to build a ramp, it has to be built to code.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
And then so probably just to have the guy come out and build that but that was the interesting thing. And I'm guessing but it's interesting because the politicians would put that in place and fucking put this small business out. But when it comes to the hospital, they're like, we're not doing it.
yeah.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, it's and I'm not hating on society has to move forward, right? Like we got to do things. You can't just let one dude in a wheelchair fucking stop all of civilization from moving forward. But then on the other hand, like then you got to make fucking accommodation. You got to be able to tell the business owner, okay, you don't need a permit. Go ahead and build this ramp.
Well, and the interesting thing too, like with nursing and medicine, like the further up you get in those fields, typically the less hands-on you are. It's more about your knowledge. You know, like a nurse is doing more physical labor than a nurse practitioner. Like you're no longer doing like the bed care. You're doing more of the actual like diagnosing. So it should require less physical ability.
Right.
But people's perceptions of what a practitioner should look like is really damning.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I guess I wouldn't judge someone in a wheelchair, but I do have my other judgments. When I go to the doctor, I do start judging. Yeah, I mean, I'm not skinny by any means, but every time I go to the doctor, I'm the skinniest person there out of all the employees and all the patients. So I think, like, do you even work on cars like me?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I get that. Yeah. So when you mean practitioner, you mean like if you like your thing would be, hey, I've seen 1,000 kids come in with earaches and 80% of them are this. So this is the first thing we should check. And that's not a physical thing. That's like an intellectual thing of just like the questions you have. Okay.
Yep.
So what do? You have all that education and you get out of that space. Do you, can you, when my wife had a midwife, she did all the gynecological exams like prior to the thing, and then we did them all at the house. It was awesome. So do you do that now? Do you do home? No,
I am not working. My youngest was born in 2018, and I was getting my master's in nursing at the time. And then when I dropped out of school with him, I just have been at home with my kids. So I have not been working since then.
Are you homeschooling your kids?
No,
But is your 6-year-old started school?
he's in first grade now.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. God, what a great thing. Your kids are so fucking lucky to have you. So you're a full-time athlete and a full-time mom.
Correct.
Yeah, what a good ass life. You are living a good Yeah, I'm a full-time like podcaster dude and then just a full-time dad. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Man. And so how did you qualify this year? What place did you get in the open?
I got first in the open.
And how did you do last year at the games?
I won the games last year.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
How many times was that your first time winning it?
Second.
Oh my goodness. Do you feel are you still able to enjoy it or are you starting to feel pressure?
I don't feel pressure with it. No. I mean, I think you always get like the anxious nerves right before you get on the competition floor. But I don't think that there's ever like a feeling of the pressure with it. No.
When you
I
came
like that.
When you came home from the games last year, there wasn't like some newspaper in Sioux Falls that was like, and we have the fittest woman in a wheelchair here, and they got the camera in the van out front. No,
No.
the fuck is wrong
Don't tell
with you?
them to do that.
I won't, but it's just weird. It seems like something local TV would be all excited about, right?
Keep them away.
Especially because you're not hidden on Instagram. Okay, tell me, tell me some of the are you doing stuff that you never thought you would do?
Absolutely, yeah.
And what are some of those things? What about that giant rock climbing wall?
So that's it's a new thing for me starting, I think probably January. I started doing rock climbing and wanting to really pursue paraclimbing. And they just announced that it's going to be in the 28 Paralympics. So I've got that as like a long shot as, hey, something I might want to work toward. But it's a fun challenge for me. I mean, my favorite things in the gym to do have always been rope climbs and pegboards. And like, I'm always a little leery with the pegboard of like, if I fall, I'm going to break my femur. And so it was like, well, let me get on a harness and be able to just keep going. So it's been, I'm loving the new challenge of it and like the intricacies of developing different type of grip strength and like the mental challenge of trying to canvas a wall where it's not built for a paraclimber. So like what footholds can I make work for a crimp grip? And like it's a new challenge for me.
So if you were to fall from there, theoretically that rope would catch you, like it would tighten up. Zzz.
Yeah, it's a harness.
Have you ever fallen?
Well, yeah. I mean, when you get to the top, you come down through you just let go. It's on a belay.
And do you do it or do you tell a guy?
So either way, most of the time when I'm there at really quiet times during the day while everyone's at work and my kids are at school. So I have the gym to myself. So I'm usually on the auto belay. So it just catches itself. But if there's someone there that will do like a top rope belay for me, I've done that as well.
Do you remember how long did it take you to get to the top of that? How many times did you go to the gym before you got to the top?
My first try.
No shit. That must
I like to climb, but you know what the biggest thing for me was the first time I climbed it was being able to let go to come down. The first time I climbed it, I climbed back down as well because I was like, I can't just let go. I'm gonna fall. Like it took me a while to trust the rope and the harness.
Yeah. Your core must be just on fire that you never get to put your legs down.
Yeah. It's a question I often get is like, what do I do for core strength? And it's one of those like, I don't know. I use it for everything, like for balance, for everything I do. I don't really like sit and do core specific exercises.
Yeah. That's so interesting that people say that. You know what if you're wondering how hard it is, how much core you use. There was this workout I used to do as a young man where I would do GHD sit-ups and muscle ups. And you have until you mix those two, you have no idea how much you use your core in a muscle up. It's like your core just vanishes because you did the GHD sit-ups. I mean, you're using your core for everything. Or even trying to do a pegboard without your feet. Like, in the games, they look so weird and unathletic.
Side to side.
Yeah, and they use their feet like a spider, like they're climbing the wall.
Yep.
The reason why they do that is they don't have the core strength to do it like this without their feet. But if you try that a few times, I mean, like the wrestlers do, it's nuts. I mean, that's
like,
when I see you climbing that wall, all I think about the whole time is your core, because I see your legs dangling like that. I'm like, holy fuck, her core must be working its ass off.
Or like for a rope climb, I try and swing do as much of a side crunch to get a higher reach. So it's less pulls,
little kips.
Yep.
Man, have you fallen from a rope?
No.
No, and when you say that you're afraid your femur break, meaning you would come down. Oh my God, yeah, that's crazy.
I fully trust the rope because the grip is in my hands, right? The pegboard is the one that I get a little fearful of the peg slipping out. I don't trust that as much.
Like you didn't put it in all the way and it
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Hey, is that a weight vest you have on too?
Yes.
Man, you really have no limits.
It's been, I would say, probably for the past, I don't know, 6 months, a year. I don't necessarily follow any specific programming anymore. And it's more like I try and come up with fun things to try that just sound like fun for me.
They would never make you do this in the games, though, right? They're way too
absolutely not. No. Yeah.
That would be unsafe. You're doing unsafe.
But it's stuff that I enjoy doing. I like doing bar muscle ups. They never have us do a bar. They'll have us do ring muscle ups. They don't have us do bar muscle ups. And some of that is a function thing because for a seated athlete, I do have a lot lower core function than some people do. And so I can do a bar muscle up. I can't do it properly because without hip function, I can't do it without a terrible chicken wing. But I do it anyways because I enjoy the feeling of it. But yeah, it's things like that. Will never be programmed, but I don't care because it's fun for me. It's mostly me just playing around.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I mean, it's cool. It's crazy inspirational. Hey, if you broke your leg, would you feel it? No.
So I would not feel it, but the muscles typically kick in and spasm if there's any type of active injury going on. So I would imagine that it would spasm real bad for me.
God, I respect your false grip. It's almost as good as mine. I have the best false grip in CrossFit. Man, that's such a nice false grip. Don't you love that false grip? It's so sad that athletes don't use that anymore. They just do this shit.
Right.
False grip's so nice, and you get that little
pocket,
and you get that little rub there that kind of hurts. It's like your metal for the next couple days. You're like, yeah,
I did that.
Yeah, look at your forearms, crazy. Tell me, what does the programming look like? What will they have you do? What's kind of things they do for you guys? Challenges. What are you expecting?
Probably a lot of just standard CrossFit workouts, to be honest. They've released a couple of the workouts where, an endurance one where we've got all the machine work. And then we've got pull-ups and clean and press, I think. It'll be barbell. One I think they just released has barbell snatching.
How do you do that? You take it off your lap or you take it off the ground? Off your lap.
Off the lap. Well, you'll cycle it from your lap. So that you take it from the ground to your lap and then cycle it from your lap.
Do you guys do any of the wheelchair people do anything off the ground to overhead?
Without stopping at the lap? No.
Yeah, would they ever have you just do dumbbell, like touch the ground and lean over and do that, or
With a dumbbell from the side, yes.
yeah?
But I think that also becomes one of those, depending on how the divisions are split, if you're a higher up as soon as you get higher up, you lose some of the lower core function to be able to do directly from the floor.
What about a 16 single arm dumbbell snatches? Oh, so are those off the ground or are those off your lap?
Those are typically off the lap.
And what are the U-turns?
So that's usually like it's around the edge of a box. So you'll come up next to a box and then back up, do a spin around, and then come to the other side of the box.
And how and is that a technical move that you have to like practice and get really proficient at? Is that a transition?
I would say like it's I don't practice it at all. But I'm also 20 plus years in a chair. I think it's just standard, like being able to maneuver your chair, right?
That doesn't make you dizzy? Can I see one of those, Caleb? That doesn't make you sick? That sounds like I don't even go on rides at the amusement park. That sounds like it would be horrible.
No.
No. Hey, why don't they have racing? Do they have racing? Is falling out of your wheelchair too dangerous to is it dangerous? Can't they just put helmets on you and have you guys race too?
We've got
great.
part of our endurance has wheeling, has a 1,200 meter wheel.
On one wheel, you have to go 1,200 meters?
Oh, on one wheel?
Well, I mean, but I mean, on two wheels, do you have to pull the front wheel?
Do we have to hold a wheelie?
No.
No, but they often have like shuttle wheels in a wheelie.
You have a 1,200 meter race in your event?
Our first event is 1,500 meter row, 1,500 meter ski, 1,200 meter wheel.
And so how do you do that? Are you guys on a track?
I think we might be one of the days we're out at an outdoor facility.
God, I'd like to see that. Hey, do they have just straight wheelchair racing, like wheelchairs on a 400 meter track and dudes just go? God, I've never seen that.
Like in the Paralympics, they do. It's there's specific chairs that are built more like a hand cycle. Like there's two wheels with one wheel out in front, and you're actually like sitting like up on your knees, leaning forward as you wheel.
Are you good at that?
I've never done it.
No, but I just mean at the 1,200 meter thing. When you have to race in your chair for 1,200 meters, are you good at that?
I think I'm fairly proficient at it. I've got good endurance, I think. So anything that is cardio is kind of up my alley.
Is there contact in that, Andrea?
No, we're not allowed to.
Oh, interesting.
I saw that at the bottom note. We are not allowed to purposefully.
Okay, but there could be incidental contact.
There could be.
You're going and someone slows down around a turn slower than you, and you hit them like, well, fuck.
Yeah, as long as it's not intentional, I think that they probably will give a pass on it.
Do you see someone fall out of a chair every year at the games?
Oh, sure, yeah.
God, it's kind of like going to a car race, right? Everyone's watching the cars go around, but kind of everyone's a little excited for a car crash. That's kind of like what you'd be kind of hoping, like, you know what I mean? Like in basketball wheelchair, I mean, that's got to be the coolest thing when the guy falls out and then he's got to jump back in.
But have you ever watched basketball wheelchair? They get popped right back up. Like they're real good at it.
Yeah. Do you know the only sport that I've actually ever watched the entire, only wheelchair event where I've actually watched and like been mesmerized and watched the whole thing is one time I was waiting for a tennis match to start and on TV, like Wimbledon or something, and I saw wheelchair tennis.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane.
They're fast.
They are fast. And the two bounce thing, like you would think that makes it easier. That does not make things easier. I mean, just the time, because your brain has to do way more computations, right? Because the ball's bouncing twice.
Yeah.
It is nuts. Have you ever played tennis?
No.
Yeah, that looks, that's pretty impressive. I would put that up. It looks as impressive as like the guys who don't play in wheelchairs.
Right.
Yeah. I just thought it was like it looked legitimate. But I've never seen any other high level wheelchair stuff other than CrossFit.
Well, Paralympics are going on right now.
Where do you watch those? ESPN?
Yeah.
Do you watch them?
I'll watch certain events.
What's your favorite?
Well, soon to be climbing once they include it.
You're gonna make that?
It's a long-term goal. Yeah.
Do you know who the best in the country is?
I have no idea. It is so new to me. Like, I was gonna go to my first comp last year. They're like, I guess it was the start of this year. I was interested in just going to a comp to check it out, but it was the same time as I did the live open workout this year, and I had to be in Denver for the live open, so I couldn't do both.
What do you eat? Are you on a crazy strict diet? Because you look lean as fuck. I mean, your strength to weight ratio looks insane.
I am not on any diet whatsoever. That being said, I mean, I eat a lot of protein.
Like steak?
Steak, chicken, pork, egg whites, and fruit.
Do you eat cottage cheese? Do you do any
Yeah.
dairy? And
Yeah.
cottage cheese.
A lot of cottage cheese, yeah.
Dang. All right. Well, I'm excited to see you compete. Thanks for coming on here and let me pick your brain for 90 minutes.
Yeah, I'm impressed I could last this long.
Oh, you did great. Fuck. Man, you're so interesting. I know you have a million stories. Man, what a cool life you lived.
Thank you.
Yeah, and hey, and thanks for being such a good mom. We need great kids out there. Yeah.
Thank you for having a bunch of adaptive athletes on.
My pleasure. Yeah, my pleasure. It's great. It's great. I'm having fun. I'm even God, like I hate leaving the house. I'm probably a lot like you, which is kind of weird because I do this show, but I don't want to leave the house. I don't want to leave my kids. I want to stay in my own little bubble. But
Right.
I know I would have a blast if I went there, especially if I could just hang out and just watch and cheer.
You'd love it.
Yeah. Hey, and congratulations on having a great team. You guys have a great team. Kevin Ogar's what a great leader.
Absolutely, yeah. Keeps it fun.
Yeah. All right, dear. Thanks for coming on. Hope to run into you again, and we'll be watching.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay. Ciao.
Bye.
Andrea Wilson.
I couldn't find a video of anybody doing fucking U-turns. I know I've seen Jedediah do it, but I couldn't see it on his.
This is gonna be such a dickhead thing to say, but it is what it is. She might be the most for sure out of the adaptive athletes. She's the most professional that we've interviewed, but she might be one of the most like. I don't remember what she said about how like having to go into a nurse's office and having to prove herself because people see a wheelchair and like pass judgment, like she might not be competent or capable. But when I talk to her as an athlete, I'm like, yeah, this is a professional athlete. Like she just got professional athlete vibe and social skills. She just seems like a pro.
Yeah, I agree.
So I give her anyone else. Sorry if you've been on the show, and I'm not saying you don't seem like a pro. I'm just saying she now has, like, she oozes like, hey, I'm strictly I'm not fucking around. You know what I mean? Like she's not having a glass of wine at night.
Yeah, I can see that. That makes sense.
Tim Murray's like, I don't have a glass of wine at night. He's watching the show right now. Fuck you. Told you I haven't had a drink in 4 years. I know. I'm just saying. Maybe I'm just a sucker for the core.
She's got a crazy body, dude.
Yeah, let's look at some of her videos. Let's look at the pegboard one. Is crazy. That's how I do the pegboard. Me and her are probably the two best pegboarders in CrossFit.
Just because you don't use your legs.
Yeah, I'm a beast. Even though I haven't done one in fucking a year. Dude, that requires so much fucking core strength.
Yeah, that's insane.
Listen, anyone who's watching this and you think you're a good pegboarder, do one of these up and down. And I promise you in the morning your stomach will be sore. The Sevon has the same leg strength as Andrea. And you're the best at getting pegged. Jesus criminy.
Wow.
I excel. I'm sweating like a pig. Oh shit! I'm trying to get Facundo on. I might be able to get Facundo. Oh, this is awesome. Do you remember Facundo? I don't know what he's a manager, coach, confidant.
Yeah, I remember Facundo.
Mayhem's poster child for fastidious cleanliness. DEI. Is Facundo DEI hire? That's the first thing I'm going to ask him. Are you DEI hire at Mayhem?
Politician.
Monday 9 a.m. or Tuesday at 10. God, he's like a real adult. What is? Oh, today's Monday. No, I can't do Monday. Oh, so tomorrow at 10 a.m. God, tomorrow is going to be fucking crazy. Yes. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. I have a meeting I'm really excited about. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I have a meeting. I don't really do meetings. I have a meeting on Tuesday.
Okay.
With the I don't know if I should say with who, but it's an important meeting. But it's also at this place called Britannia Arms. Britannia Arms, and it's right on the beach. And they have the craziest margaritas. I hope this person knows that I'm going to the meeting to get fucking smashed.
Fucking blitzed. I'm really just in it for the spicy.
And it's right. He goes, "Hey, we've been texting, and I was like, hey, why don't we just meet up and talk in person?" He says, "Okay, what's your favorite lunch spot?" And the place is a shithole. Their food is horrible. It's like fish and chips. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
Yeah. But it's right on in the patios. Just, I mean, everyone who works there is English. It's just a shitty English dive bar, but they have a patio, and God, it's so funny. And the patio is right next to you froze, Caleb. Can you hear me? Oh, and the patio, Caleb, if you ever come here, we'll go there every single day. The patio is less than 100 yards from the Pacific Ocean, but in between the patio and the ocean is the public restrooms and then the showers, and they're outdoor showers. So the whole time you're sitting there, there's every fucking there's the hottest people and the ugliest people in the world just showering there, and it's fucking and dogs running around, and the parents roll up on the electric bikes with 5 kids in the back, and it falls over. I mean, it's just a fucking
sounds like some of the best people watching.
Dude, it's a shit show.
That's so good.
It is so fucking great. No, it's not in Monterey. It's just right down the street from my house. And I don't even know if I should say. Yeah, bangers and mash. Yeah. Like if you order anything there with bacon, you're fucked. I saw a lady there order something with bacon because English people don't eat bacon. They got it's fucking a burnt slice of ham they eat.
Yeah.
And so this fucking lady orders it, and it comes to the table, and she's pissed, and she starts fucking going off on the waitress, and the waitress is awesome, dude. And the waitress is like this 65-year-old. All the waitresses there. God, I don't know if I should say this. No one listens to this podcast, really, right?
No.
I shouldn't say it, but the waitresses are great. I love the waitresses, and they've all been there. You know, they all look like they've been there 20 years, right? And the waitresses, like it says right here, not underneath the menu, not American bacon. And as soon as it says that, it's like, but this lady wants her fucking money back. And the waitress is being cool, but it's like, I don't know, dude. It's a business, and they're trying to stay in business, and it says right on there, not American bacon. It says like ham or whatever. Like, you know what I mean?
Canadian bacon.
Yeah. Anyway, hi Lisa. Good to see you. I'm really disappointed in Equip Products. They didn't do their obligatory $10 donation for a when we have an adaptive athlete on.
Yeah, where are they at?
Where are you at, Equip Products?
Probably building wheelchairs or whatever.
Seller of jump ropes that don't actually go underneath you. Equip Products, where you can get 2 jump ropes for the price of 1. They're only this long, and you don't actually jump over anything. I meant Monday. My wife is going to be. So there's so much shit going on tomorrow. So Facundo says he can do. Oh, I meant Monday, September 9th, but I will arrange for tomorrow. Okay. Sweet. Oh, you're such a good dude. Let me see. Are we going to get crazy?
Is that what you're asking him? Are we gonna get crazy?
See you tomorrow. Yeah. Are we going to get crazy? Because, dude, you know he has insights into what's going on with. Oh, there it is. Holy shit! Better late than never. Beg, ask, and you shall receive. I'm a Christian now. Just like that. Oh my goodness. I fucking love you guys. Equip Products. Sponsor for the, I don't even know if this is true. Sponsor for the 2024 Adaptive Games in San Antonio, September 19th to the 22nd. I will be there. No, that's not, I don't know. I can't say that. There's no fucking way. I'm going to be in Newport Beach partying. When is the NorCal Classic is
Not this week or next week.
What's today? September 2nd?
Yep.
Oh shit. I got to start packing up my camera gear in the next day or two here.
Yeah. Looks like it's Thursday to or Friday to Sunday.
Yeah, I'm going Thursday morning. I'm meeting Colton and Taylor. Oh shit, Taylor comes to my house tomorrow. Taylor and Lizzie. That's crazy.
You better clean the house.
It's clean. It's clean. I mean, it's clean for our standards. We gotta wash the sheets though.
Make sure you hide all your butt plugs from Taylor.
Just give my old ones. Okay, so from the 5th to the 9th, and then God, I guess I could go to San Antonio from the 19th to the 22nd. I guess I don't have to go for the whole thing. I could go for the finals. Oh, we're going to the airport.
Mm.
Ugh. And then I'm going to Newport Beach to hang out with Sarah. Oh, I wonder if we got someone to watch the dog. Do we have a dog sitter for Newport?
Welcome to the housekeeping part of the show where we go through Sevon's calendar and make
I
plans
can't
for next
fucking
week.
believe these text messages I'm reading. I just can't fucking believe the shit people send me.
You just can't believe that they send it to you, or you just can't believe the what is being said in the text.
What is being said?
Oh.
So, being a famous guy or a super hot chick, like you don't live in the same reality. Like super hot chicks don't live in the same reality as other people.
Right.
Like I'm 52 and like I finally like met like I know this girl who's like super hot, and it's, I mean, super, like, you know what I mean? Like dudes are just like, I can't really fucking, you know what I mean? Like just
You
like,
just throw themselves at her.
not even that. They don't even, you don't even know what to do. It's like, but like now she's been sharing just stories with me of just like what the world's like for her. and
Yeah.
it's just crazy. It's not just like, but she also knows she's super hot. I guess they're like, it's like, Jedediah, this might make sense to you. Like maybe only you and I can understand this, Jedediah Snelson. But it's like having a handicap placard. Like parking is like so different for me than the rest of you guys. Like I always have options. Like yesterday I went to the beach and there was a handicap spot open right there. And then there was a spot, and the parking lot holds like 1,000 cars, and there were only 200 cars in it. So I can be like, I can go up and park right in the front in the handicap spot, or I could park like 30 feet back and leave it open for someone else who actually is handicapped. So I chose, I did the right thing, and I took the non-handicap spot.
It did the right thing.
But I have options that like you guys, like you don't even know. Like you show up somewhere, like you know what I mean. You show up somewhere, and there you see a handicap spot, and it's like not even an option for you. For me, always an option.
Sure. See what you're saying.
So like I can show up to, like there'll be some street they close off in your town, and there'll be like a 4th of July parade there, and like everyone else is driving around like an asshole looking for a parking spot for an hour for a 15-minute parade. Not me, not Jedediah. There's always a spot for you. It's crazy. Unless I parked in it, then Jedediah, then there's not a spot for you. But you know what I'm talking about. And then I come to the park. I come into the park. Now you wouldn't know it was me. You wouldn't know it was me. One time, this guy, this one handicap spot I always park in by the beach. The guy who runs the liquor store there. I park there and I go in, and he's like, "Hey, just so you know." I go, "Yeah." They're like, "Someone came in here and reported you to us." I'm like, "What?" They said a guy who doesn't look like he's handicapped parked in the handicap spot. I'm like, "They reported to you guys at the fucking liquor store?" You know what I mean? Oh my goodness. Well, this confirms that Sevon indeed is retarded. Well, that's better than an asshole. I think Jedediah puts me in the asshole camp.
Why do you think he has a handicap sticker?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. You have a handicap spot because you're a dwarf. I'm going to edit that for you. You're not allowed to say midget. Did you see? I saw this video yesterday about the guy, the Kill Tony guy, Tony Hinchcliffe.
Yeah.
I saw a video in 2021 where he said the word chink, and he got supposedly like canceled for it. He thinks he got canceled. I think he wants to. It's so weird how people use the word canceled. They think they were canceled.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like they think that they're being serious.
Like some people think they were canceled, and like you weren't really canceled. I don't know if I would say that this guy really got
shitty
canceled.
content.
I mean, but it was interesting. He used the word chink in a stand-up routine. He called another comedian a chink. The other comedian, then I didn't watch the whole video, but basically it was during Asian hate, and it was so funny because Tony Hinchcliffe said it was during Asian hate when homeless people in LA were beating Chinese people, and I'm like, no, it wasn't homeless people. It was black people, and they're still beating Chinese people. Have you ever seen a white person in an Asian hate video?
I've never seen any of those videos, so
there's not. It's always a black, like, because they're afraid to say it. Do you know what I mean? Because then that would be racist to say. Like, isn't it the irony is that it's a Chinese person getting beaten, and they're calling it Asian hate. So there, it's okay to denote someone to be racist, right? Or I don't mean racist in a negative term. I mean just to assess something, but I don't mean racist in a negative way. Hey, do you know what I mean by that? Like when you use racist, like, and it's not, it's like you're just judging. Like if I said black people are more adapted to the sun than white people, I'm being racist, but it's science.
Okay.
You with
That's
me?
what I'm saying. I just
See what I'm saying? Okay.
I thought racism was
It is, but don't ruin my story.
Okay. Yep.
You get what I'm saying though. I'm making sense logically.
Okay.
But if you say that Chinese people are being hated by because they're Chinese, but for some reason the race, and it's racist because they're Chinese, but then you would be racist if you pointed out that it's just black people beating them. Oh no, Savon, it's not just black people. Okay, 99.9%. It's like all Uber drivers in LA are Armenian. But okay, had one that wasn't. Okay, well, he was Lebanese. He was close enough.
Basically same.
Yeah. Like so if you just type, here, I'm gonna go to I'm gonna go. Let me see. I'm gonna type in Asian hate crime, and then I'm gonna go to the Asian videos. Okay, I'm gonna pull this one up right here. Can you hear that when I play that?
It was like a whooshing sound. That was it.
Oh. Okay, here's a I'm gonna look at this Asian hate. It's the first video on YouTube that pops up. It's an Asian hate video. I actually can't tell if it's oh yeah, it's black people. But black is a skin color and Asian's a race, ethnicity. So funny.
Aren't Asians a race?
Asian hate, I guess. I don't even know what a race is. I heard this thing the other day that there's more genetic diversity in black people than there is in the difference between white people and black people. And the example that was given is that the shortest human beings in the world are on the African continent and they're black, and the tallest people in the world are on the African continent and they're black. So to say race is just like means nothing. And I was like, well, okay, I buy that. Yeah, like all of a sudden it's just like, I mean, I get what ethnicity is and nationality. Nationality is the easiest one to get your head wrapped around, right? That just like we used to be a nation before our borders opened up.
Now what are we?
I used to be American. I don't fucking know what we are. Yeah, compare a Nigerian to a Congan. Yeah, Nigerians go to medical school. Congans get kids to fight in wars when they're 12. I totally know the difference. Right? I mean, just generally speaking.
Sure.
Now, I'm not saying you can't be a Nigerian and go to war, or you're a Congan can't be a fucking doctor, but I'm just saying. Nigerians come here and become doctors and lawyers.
So
I got a giant Nigerian friend in town. Black as night, 6'5", fucking man of steel. He's a little older than me. Every time he sees me, he hugs me. I feel like I vanish inside of him. You know what I mean? Oh,
that's terrifying.
I see him once a week at the coffee shop. I think his I don't know if I should say his daughter. Wow, I think his daughter got is Cornell in New York?
Yes.
His daughter's a straight A student. Was a straight A student and got a full ride scholarship to Cornell.
Ithaca, New York. Yeah, that's where it's at.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet you L's Nigerian. I would not be surprised. Oh, Cornell's in New Hampshire?
No, I think there's multiple Cornells. The actual like legit Cornell is Ithaca.
Yeah, I think I think she went to Dartmouth. Dartmouth. Someone posted, I thought Saxon would have been a virtue signaler in the comments. I took a screenshot of it and I sent it to Saxon. I said, this is the meanest thing I've ever seen on the internet.
Oh my God.
Dude, Scott and Spencer and Saxon and the Panchik parents, dude, they're fucking salt of the earth homies. Those are hardworking fucking Americans. They're like, if Nigerians were white, that would be them.
Okay. Yeah.
They're like, you know what I mean? They're like raise kids, family, get married once kind of people.
Yeah, I can see that.
Our thumbnail's so weird. That doesn't even look like Angelo.
No, it doesn't. That's like Angelo like 10 years ago, man. Angelo now is like a fucking rugged elk hunting, firefighting stud.
Yeah, there he
That's
looks like he's going to getting his MBA.
Yeah, that's like LinkedIn Angelo.
How about this? Someone just sent me this. All I want for Christmas is for Beth to spend one day with Kamala.
Oh, that'd be pretty crazy.
Yeah, you like that? White Nigerians. That's what they are, basically. The pan chicks are just white Nigerians. Or Nigerians or black pan chicks. I don't care. Do it how you want. The wife commented on all your sponsors now, and she looked up the exerciser. Is she trying to tell me something? Oh. Thank you for looking up all my sponsors. Do not get 40% off of FitAid right now. Do not. I refuse to let you guys do that. They are not a sponsor anymore. Do not click the QR code. Fuck, that's the most promoting I've done for them since they've been a sponsor. They're not even a sponsor anymore. Did anyone buy any FitAid? I would buy anything that was 40% off. I'd buy dick.
Would you really?
I don't know. Probably not.
That might be a stretch, huh?
FitAid tastes like drinking Drano. Are you kidding me? I love drinking it. But I like things that I don't like black licorice. You don't like black licorice? I don't like it either. But if I see it, I gotta eat it. Do you know what are those plants called? Anise, fentanyl plants, fennel. Do you know what fennel or anise is?
No, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, we have them all over California. They're weird. It's a weird plant. I wonder if it's a succulent, but it's like this But anyway, whenever as a kid, I'd always if I saw it, like if I was running through a field and I saw it, I would stop and rip off a chunk and eat it. Fentanyl plants, no, fennel.
That?
No, look up anise or anise.
That's what I looked up.
Let me see. Anise. Fennel. Fennel is gross. Nope, it's none of those. Try again. Anise.
The butthole plant.
What's it called? The butthole plant? Oh, no. The butthole plant. Oh, you guys think fennel's gross? I like things I don't like. Yeah, you know what I mean?
It looks like a fucking green onion.
Like, I'll tell you what's too like putting the 9-volt battery on your tongue. That's it. You don't normally see the root though down there at the bottom. That thing's usually underground.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, is that a succulent? Fennel is a large attractive plant with soft leathery leaves and tall. I don't even know if it has leaves. I don't ever remember seeing leaves on it. Fat clusters of tiny yellow flowers.
Funiculum vulgare.
Jesus. Yes, I want all videos. 7, I'm editing videos 11 and 12. Don't need to enter them into the contest, but do you still want them? Yes, I want everything. Send them to me. I will send you money. Did we get the second 5 yet? What about 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10? I don't even remember those. Let me see. God, poor Souza. There's so much shit falling on his plate. There's one. Oh my God, there's so many fucking affiliate videos piling in here. Pedro made one.
I just assume.
It says this video is 30 seconds long. The intro is 5 seconds. That means it's a 26-second video. 24-second video. How's my math?
Sure.
When you're out there on the outside, it's just me and my wife, and it's just me and her. And we work 24/7 because we're retired. And to be around people, it's that sense of community, belonging. And belonging to Salty Hive has been enriching to us. And that's why we keep coming back, because we know when we go there, it's good people, good times, and we enjoy doing the exercise and enjoy the company.
Voiced by Brett Hoffer. What do you mean voiced by Brett Hoffer? Brett, that wasn't your voice. What the fuck? That was that. Is that you, Brett? You're that old guy? Oh. I have to mute you for 1 second.
Adam Blakesley, I'd like to have Shadigan. You'd like me to have a Shadigan video contest with myself. I don't really know what that means,
I missed the call.
but I'm definitely not doing that. I think I might just bulldoze it. The more I think about what I'm going to do with that house, I think I'm just going to start bulldozing it.
No
I have to
shit.
figure it all out. Yeah.
So time in the camper has given you time to reflect.
Kind of. Just we knew that the thing had some pretty significant issues, and then over the past, like, since it's almost been a year since we bought it, and we've been through all the seasons, and we're noticing that there's like way more wrong with it, like foundation and the roof.
I could have told you that.
Well, yeah, we just like I'm not, and
You knew what was wrong with it. Just something happened in the motorhome.
yeah, no. When you think of foundation issues, you think of like, oh, there's like a crack in the foundation or like whatever.
Or
like,
maybe the house is like slid off a little and you got to like.
Yeah, I'm talking like the slab is cracked in half and water's coming up through underneath it into the main part of the house. Like there's no crawl space, there's no underside to the building. It's just dirt. So under this concrete slab, water's getting in and then just like coming through the cracks in the foundation. So there's that, and then obviously the roof leaks and shit like that.
If this makes you feel any better, I bought a 500 square foot home on a 600 square foot lot for $500,000. The house walls were 1x6 fencing with a piece of sheetrock on either side of the fencing. The house was built on, you know, those things you get at Home Depot, those cement,
Cinder blocks?
not cinder. It's like it's a piece of cement with like a piece of wood on it.
Yeah.
Someone will say what it's called here
I don't know
in the
what it's
chat in a
called.
second. But like you can just buy them at Home Depot for, I don't know, $10 or $20, and then you could build like a deck on them.
Yes.
Footers? Is that footers? Yeah. And
Sure.
it's built like on 10 footers or 12 footers. You know what I mean? Like 4, 4, 4, and that was the fucking house, dude. And I paid $500,000 for it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I think I got a better deal.
Yeah,
but
you could take a screwdriver and just puncture it through the house.
That's terrifying, dude.
Yeah.
That's
And the
so
house was built like in 1917.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna.
Do you hear
Or-
screaming?
Yeah, I heard somebody yell.
Nerf war. They're having Nerf wars outside.
Oh,
Someone
hell
almost got shot in the eye.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna just get rid of the whole thing. There's like electrical that's really bad. Like none of it's connected properly. None of it's makes really any sense as to like where any of it runs, because you just have stuff just hooked up in random places. Like you have one wall that's divided into, there's two different breaker boxes, and one wall is split up between two different breaker boxes. So like it just doesn't make any sense.
I thought your mom paid $500K for it. You know what's funny is someone made a comment the other day in my Instagram like that. They made a whole list, like it was she didn't pay a dime for it, but someone made a list of all the things, like that I've ever said that my mom's done for me. Basically, with being passive aggressive, saying I was privileged,
Oh,
and it was fascinating. My dad's told me like 3 times in the last 5 years that I'm just lucky. Like the
your
way
dad
my
told you that?
yeah, that the way my life turned out is just lucky.
God.
And whatever you guys think of me, like it's funny because I don't think of it until I meet other people. But I'm either fucking completely retarded or have 1,000 times the balls of any 100 of the baddest men you've ever known on the planet. And I'll give you an example. When I went to Malawi, I would fucking in my days off that I wasn't fucking at a fucking garbage dump filming kids getting vitamin A, I would walk barefoot into a village with no running water and no electricity that hasn't seen a fucking white man ever and go hang out there by myself with no one I had ever met before. And I fucking that's like nothing compared to what I've done with my life and how hard I've worked. And I promise you, 1 out of a billion of you would not fucking do that. But for me, it was like nothing. So that's the thing. It's not like I'm brave and I'm like, I'm going into the fucking Black Village. I'm just made for that. But like to think that I had the only privilege I had is my parents loved me. Like loved the shit out of me. My whole fucking extended family. Fuck. I got so much love. But it almost fucking killed me. I mean, I was also fucking, you know what I mean? Given a box of Ritz crackers and a remote control to a TV, and that's where I lived. People from the other room shouted, I love you. But don't get crazy. Don't make me have to fucking, what's it called? A CV? Why do they call it a CV?
Like your resume?
Yeah.
I don't know why they call it that.
Oh. Yeah, don't make me
Pedro question.
don't make me have to fucking give you my fucking CV, whatever the fuck that is. Yeah, I do have a charmed life.
Curriculum vitae.
I do have a charmed life. I chose to believe that.
It is an itemized list of a person's entire education, publications, accomplishments, notable projects, blah, 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 blah. Curriculum vitae.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Don't make me. Oh, career verification. Don't make me show you my curriculum vitae.
Of course, Paulina knows that. She's got a long curriculum vitae.
You jackasses. I can't believe we had Angelo and Saxon on yesterday. What a great podcast.
That is not something I ever expected to happen ever.
No, me neither.
It's pretty cool.
I went to the beach 2 days in a row and didn't drink because I had nighttime podcasts.
Wow.
That's fucking discipline.
You start having more nighttime podcasts?
I don't know. But Tuesday, I'm going to do that podcast with Facundo, and then I'm going to a business meeting at the Britannia Arms by the beach showers.
Business meeting.
That's how Reddit thread starts. So you know, Savon has business meetings by a beach shower. Pervert.
He does it on purpose.
Yeah.
So he can just get drunk and laugh at people. How dare he?
Part of that. Yeah, but that's all accurate.
They just make it seem like it's a bad thing.
I mean, dude, the shit you'll see like some fucking character come up with their fucking dog. You know what I mean? Like it'll be like the fattest fucking white dude you've ever seen with the cut off sleeves with the American flag on the shirt. And it's a XXX, but his gut's still hanging out. And he's walking 3 Labradors that like he should be beaten for how fat he's let these dogs go. And as he walks by, he sweeps fucking someone's like brand new, some like 13-year-old girl's brand new surfboard. You know what I mean? And she's like trying to shower and the surfboard falls down and bangs. And he's like, you shouldn't have put your surfboard there. And it's just Americana chaos. Hi, I heard you crying. You got fucked up? Oh, the back? Dude, you got to bite down and just take that.
I really need you to buy me that gun. The one that stings. I need it.
You got shot in the back, and now you want me to buy you a gun that hurts the other kids?
Yeah, it's more fun.
What's it called?
Um,
He wants a gel blaster. Gel. So you got hurt. This is like an arms race. You know, that's the problem with the world. You know that, right? Like each person wants to up the ante and just get bigger and bigger guns. Yeah, he just came in the fucking. You know, I'm doing a show right now.
Oh shit! It's a 7-year-old's arms race. First, it starts with rubber bands, and then somebody adds a hornet to the rubber band, and then somebody gets a Nerf gun, and somebody wants a gel blaster.
Yeah, can you look up a gel blaster and see what one looks like for me?
Yeah.
see?
No, you're good. You don't need to see. Don't call me a dude canoe when we're on the air, please.
Okay, sorry.
Alright. I mean, you can call me that later, but you know the rules for.
It's a fucking Glock, dude.
That's really what he wants. It's a fucking
No,
two.
no, it's not. There's a different one.
How
I
do
just
I?
wanted to find the one that looked like the most like a gun.
How do I? Oh, extra camera. Are you dressed?
Do you want me to get dressed?
No, you're fine. So what happened?
Avi was going around with his gun, testing it to shoot, and then he shot Joe in the neck. He started crying, and I heard it. I went over to check. I tried to shoot. I shot him. I fired the gun. It literally, by an inch, it missed him, and then he shot me in the back and then the leg. He was like, bam, bam.
So your brother got shot and was crying. You went over to protect him, and then you got blasted. Sounds about right.
Classic.
No, it doesn't. He's the one that's supposed to get blasted.
Hey, is the gel blaster have they're like bubbles?
I don't know.
They're like water. Do you soak the bullets in water?
I think it's like a bigger version of an Orby gun.
Orby gun? You know what Orby guns are?
No. How do you even know this stuff?
I can't believe you know what Orbeez are.
How do you know it? How do you know that stuff? I've never even heard that word. How would you know that?
Orby?
Yeah. Where did you see that? Be careful.
The first time I saw an Orby was McKenna and Nico bought it for my birthday.
Oh,
But then something happened and then
I probably threw it away.
Yeah, I probably did throw it away.
All right. Are you okay now? Isn't it fun kind of getting shot in the back and it stings a little bit?
No, I started crying.
I know,
tried to
but
cry.
isn't that kind of fun?
No, I wanted to.
Do you have a welt on your back?
I know.
Turn around. Let me see. Lift up your shirt. Let me see. Turn around. No, just right there. Move that. Yeah, let me see. Lift up your back. I don't see anything.
Yeah, exactly. But I got shot many times. At least I shot Avi in the head and the belly.
Please don't shoot him in the head. Are you guys wearing protective glasses?
Mhm.
You are?
Mhm.
Be truthful with me. Are you?
Yes.
Okay.
I almost forgot to put all my glasses on.
All right.
I didn't.
You're dismissed.
I want to stay.
Hey, I was gonna ask you. Oh, when someone called, just listen. Be a good child and just listen to the adults talk now. Caleb, when someone calls you, do you and you're gonna call them back? Do you say, "Can I call you back?" or do you say, "I'll call you back"?
Can I usually ask if it's okay to call him back? Yeah.
Oh, just like being nice. If someone says that to me, "Can I call you back?" I usually just don't respond.
Why?
I don't know why, because I'm just being a dick. I'm just a dick like that.
Oh.
Like, what do you mean,
Okay.
can you call me back? I just called you, motherfucker. Why couldn't you call me back?
Oh,
shit.
okay. I see what you're saying.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
You were.
Yeah.
You,
I guess
Hey, that's just probably like my OCD. Just my like.
you just act like a D right there.
I.
You act angry. You acted so angry. Like you acted like you're about to like smack us up or something.
I forgot you were even there.
You are?
Yeah, I was just talking to Caleb. I was looking across the screen at Caleb.
Can you even remember 5 seconds I was here?
No.
Okay.
Do I have a good memory?
No, but don't take this seriously. You're old, so it doesn't really matter.
All right. All right. Do you know your own birthday?
Yes.
When's your birthday?
November 22nd.
Oh, all right.
Did you? Do you?
I know that you and your brother are either the 20th and the 21st or the 21st and the 22nd. I know one of you was born a day before the other. Always get it confused. I'll probably remember forever now. You're November 22nd. Your brother's November 21st.
Yes. But don't think it out, brothers. We're twins, so.
Yeah.
Very different.
How old are you?
7. Joey's only like 5 hours older than me right now.
Yeah. Who's cooler out of the two of you?
Wait, out of Joey and I?
Yeah.
Joey's actually really brave by talking smack to people.
I know he is brave. He does talk some shit to people, which is crazy. He stands up for himself, right?
Yeah, so he's like he was talking smack to Dylan and Drake when they were doing
naughty stuff.
Yeah.
Good.
He was like mean. He was like starting getting aggressive.
Yeah. So
probably the coolest.
I like that. I like that when he stands up for himself.
I was actually yelling at Dylan because we were literally. He's like, "We're gonna do another Nerf war." Mom said, "Time out for the Nerf wars." I'm like, "No, we're not gonna do another Nerf war." And then he shot a gun, and I got really pissed. And he shot the gun, brung it inside, and I'm like, "Pick up the bullets! Pick up the bullets!" He lost some too. He got some in the bushes. That was really bad.
I want to get to the part of the story where he stands up for himself, where he tells some other kid to shut the fuck up or something like that. Did he do that?
What do you mean? Oh.
I thought the whole premise was the story that Joey's a boss and bosses like stands up. Let me tell you a story where Joey stood up.
No.
This one time you were crying and some other kid's like, "Stop crying." And Joey said to the kid, "What do you mean?" The kid said, "You stop crying. It doesn't hurt." And Joey said, "How do you know? You're not in his body." I was like, damn. Joey's standing up for his brother. That was really cool when he stood up for you like that. Okay, you tell me a time Joey stood up for someone.
Well, he just stood up for himself. So here we go.
Take two. Try to keep the story concise.
Here we go. I think this is true. I'm not really sure.
You said "here we go" twice.
Stop reading my stories, Sebby.
Okay, go.
Sorry if I said that earlier. I'm just learning my language still.
You're still learning how to talk. I know. You're 7. You've only been 7 years of experience. Go. Tell me the story. Tell me the story of how Joey stood up for you.
No, for himself. He basically stood up for Avi.
Let's hear it.
So Dylan just said Avi not to ride that little junk toy, the unicycle or something. I don't know what it's called. The ATV. Okay, I don't really know. And he was riding it, and Joey's like, "Stop being mean. Let Avi ride it." I think. I don't know. I knew he stand up for Avi or something on the thingy.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't really know.
All right, show's over.
This? Right when he comes in.
Avi just walked in. How do I make it so? How do I do it? How do I do it so it's like 3 windows? Oh, fuck. How do I make it so it's like just 3 big windows?
I don't know.
Do we even have that capability anymore?
No, I don't think so, actually.
Here?
All right. All right. Thank you. Bye. You're a good dude.
Bye?
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. You didn't do anything good. I like having you on. I'm turning your light off, though. Look at.
Okay. I'm dark now. Wait. The microphone's off now.
I know. I turned your microphone off.
Everything's off?
I didn't want this to turn into romper room. I already fucked up. What? Yes. You're a good show. Thank you.
You're still on, aren't you?
I am. Shoo. Dick Butter said, "Cool story, bro." That's about as mean as you better be to my kids. All right. What is tomorrow? Sevy, you're the one who said if you bring anytime you post something online, you're just begging to be judged. All right, fine. Wait, I guess I don't have anyone scheduled tomorrow. I'll be on in the morning tomorrow morning. I got so much fucking Kamala Harris stuff I want to talk about. So we'll come on tomorrow morning, and then Caleb will be at his special top secret school.
I'll be here.
Oh, you get tomorrow. Oh, okay. And then so we'll do a little show in the morning, where we ask Pound Kamala, and then have a non-biased approach to helping you choose who to vote for president of the United States.
That's what we're here for.
And then after that, we'll take a break, and we will do a show with Facundo. And then Susan will come on. I guess I'll have to ask Susan. And then I'll be going to the beach for a meeting. And that's it. Yeah, a comedy show. Yes, tomorrow's comedy show. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Thanks, Caleb. Thanks, Sevon. Bye-bye.